A very warm welcome to everybody here. In the bustling heart of Delhi's airport, I walk past a bookstore where a vibrant yellow book catches my eye. As I approach to have a closer look at the title, I notice a hanging stethoscope. I know that this book is calling me. The Reluctant Doctor, Stilettos to Stethoscope, is a title that resonates with my own life. But what stands out is when I open the fresh pages of this book, and trust me, I couldn't have related any more. A journey of a doctor that couldn't have been described any better. Now, meet Dr. Balesh Jindal, author of The Reluctant Doctor. She is a Lady Hardanger Medical College graduate since 1980, boasting an exceptional 38-year medical career. Shifting from a high profile international career, she became a village doctor, transforming a rural clinic into a vital healthcare hub. Dr. Jindal pioneered affordable healthcare, significantly impacting child mortality rates and empowering women. Her achievements include eradicating tuberculosis in the area she worked in, earning admiration and having areas named after her. Internationally recognized with the Award of Compassion from Stanford University, Dr. Jindal's work on sexual abuse was featured on BBC.com, shedding light on critical issues. Beyond medicine, she excels as an artist, photographer, and a badminton enthusiast. Her books like A Hundred Dreams and The Reluctant Doctor showcase diverse talents. Personally, upon discovering The Reluctant Doctor, I recognize the need to broaden its reach, resonating with my own experience in the healthcare profession. Being a doctor brings both rewards and struggles, and the journey to becoming a seasoned practitioner is a continuous endeavor. Today, let's welcome Dr. Jindal, the author of The Reluctant Doctor. So, to start my interview with, my first question is, in the book, The Reluctant Doctor, you talk about how people treated you really well when the treatments worked, but you were worried about getting hurt if things didn't go well. Is this a real problem for doctors in India?
Good morning, everybody who's here, and Dr. Krishanga for having me on this platform. I'm very happy to be here and honored. And coming to the first question, let's get straight to the question without much ado. I would say, like we read in newspapers every single day, even now, that doctors are being attacked. And that's in big hospitals. And I was a single doctor practicing amongst almost Haryana. My clinic borders Haryana. So I had a lot of Jat people there, Jats and a lot of others. And tempers and passions run very high in India, especially in Haryana. So it was a real fear. But I kind of figured out very early in my career, if your communication is good, you tell the patient what to expect, what not to expect. That fear can more or less be negated where you are being attacked by a patient. I feel it works. Like, I think I'm kind of qualified enough to say that after 40 years, I finished 40 years, by the way, this year. So, so after 40 years, I can say, like, I was lucky, or I don't know what else can I put, that I never did encounter any violent or any negative reactions from patients. That's because I took care that I'm explaining every aspect of the treatment to them. And the moment I see any sign of unhappiness or discontent on the patient's face, I reach out to them and I explain everything to them. I don't let any patient leave my clinic in discontent. I think that made all the difference, why I was not attacked.
I think that's very important. Communication is the key. And unless and until we don't communicate with our patients, they're not going to understand. They don't know medical science. We have to explain it in depth to them. Only then they will be able to relate it around 50%, I'd say. So, yes, I absolutely agree. So, my next question is, there's a chapter in the book about Kalavati Saran Children's Hospital, and it seems like it was important in your medical training. Can you share why this hospital was crucial for your work as a doctor?
Well, Kalavati Saran holds a very important place in my heart and in my psyche and in my brain. Why? Because Kalavati Saran, as everyone knows, is a tertiary care hospital. And people, children from all over India, when they can't get treated, they come to Kalavati. So, I mean, we used to get very sick children. And one, like, we used to have 48 hours duty almost as residents. And in one night, we had about 100, 200 admissions in one night. And I saw every kind of sickness in those children in that time. And I think whatever I learned over there stood me in good stead in 40 years of my practice. And I was not scared to touch and treat children. I was so confident because I see that most of the people who have not done a pediatrics posting, have not worked in the pediatrics wards, they are a bit hesitant, they're a bit unsure of themselves, what doses to give, how to handle children. They're kind of unsure. So this set me on a path of good surety and confidence when I practiced.
Yes, I think practice is the key, and that hospital did give you that practice that every doctor needs. And it's a continuous learning process for us.
True,
So,
true.
seeing patients, continuously working with them, that's how we learn. So, this brings me to my third question. The book suggests that education in the villages you visited has become less important over the years. Can you explain why?
I would say let's start with the country changing. In 1990s, the liberalization and westernization of India came. That was the people say India was shining. They were seeing the GDP growth maps. I never read the GDPs and the bar charts and all the charts that were coming. I was seeing it firsthand in my clinic, how it was affecting the children and families. So when you have fast foods and you have a lot of these movies, and so children were hooked onto movies. They were watching TV the whole night. So then I saw a sudden rise of school dropouts. Children were dropping out from school. And then in 2000s, the land gold rush came, where all the people were selling off their farmlands and they were flush with money. So they themselves then said that it's okay if my son doesn't study. It's okay if he drops out. He doesn't need to study. He doesn't need to do a job. So the premium that was held in Indian society on education, I felt that reduced a lot. So then I saw children going into drugs, again, more school dropouts, and they were buying those SUVs, and they were getting into every single thing, everything that can go wrong in a society. The corruption of a society happened. Then education has no part in it. And I think it's continuing even now because they are so flush with the land money, they don't need to educate their children.
I think that's a huge problem because unless they don't learn, they will not know how to handle that money also.
True, true.
So just for that fact, I think education is very important. And apart from healthcare, I personally feel education is also a big problem. I have
Yes.
personally taught some students in Jammu and Kashmir, and the 12th standard kids were not able to answer questions of a third standard
Yeah,
class.
yeah.
So it's a big problem. So apart from providing them with the education, are we providing them with quality education is also a question here. So this
True.
brings me to my next question. You strongly disagree with untrained village doctors. Do you still think there aren't enough medical facilities in rural India? And why do you think that is?
Yes. When I started practicing, that was back in 1983 when I set up my clinic. And I saw there was not a single qualified doctor there. Not a single. I was the first one for miles and miles. And for hundreds of villages, I was the only one. So they were coming to me loaded in tractors and bullock carts. If one patient got okay, I would see a whole bullock cart full of 20 people. It was like more cost effective if everybody jumped onto the cart and is we're going to the clinic. So they would all come. And gradually I saw that these guys were so dependent on quacks, they had no choice that time. So they were dependent on quacks, and I saw what harm they were doing to people. People were actually they were giving high doses of steroids, and patients thought getting okay. People were dying of tuberculosis in 4 months. Whole families were dying, and children were dying. Like if somebody had asthma, jaundice, for everything the treatment was steroids. So that was very concerning, and I tried to really talk my patients, explain to them. It took me many years, took me maybe over 2 decades, when my patients understood the difference between a qualified and an unqualified doctor. I've been really working very hard to educate my patients. And then gradually I saw, then the scene changed, and nobody now, anybody who graduates as a doctor, nobody wants to be a general practitioner. No one wants to go to a village, not one single doctor. Actually, after me, I haven't seen any doctor in 40 years come to this place. I am ready to retire, but there's nobody else. What do you do? So people don't want to work. And now, like, my husband is a surgeon, and he teaches the MD, MS students and all. So he tells me everyone wants to go to America or abroad, wherever. Not one doctor even wants to stay in India. So all I would like to tell, since you're on this question, and I feel very strongly about it, I feel that chasing your passions does not guarantee you'll get happiness. Happiness and definition of success has changed so much for me, and I think it should for others too. When you're 40 years down your practice and you feel a certain discontent inside you, that means your happiness and success is how many lives did you touch, the number of lives you changed. I feel that is my definition of success now.
That's very well put. And I think as a doctor, we're trained to be contented after treating our patients. But in all this shining lights of abroad and everything, we fail to see that. And yes, the rural and if you see the ratio of doctors in the rural and urban region, it's quite disheartening because everybody
Sure.
wants to settle in the
Sure.
urban region. And for them, money is the factor. But when we take the oath, when we become a doctor, we kind of don't have to, consider these things. I think we forget this while, in the training process or after the process.
True.
So this brings me to my last question. What's your next book going to be about? And can you give us a hint about what topics you'll be exploring?
Dr. Krishanga, actually, people who've read the book, like so many want me to write more stories of the clinic. So that has yet to be written. I think I will, because I'm still practicing and I'm coming across more stories, because every day is a new day. And every patient is new. They come with so many different things. You can't say, I've seen it all. You can't do that. So, but the next book, which is I'm halfway through, is again about aspirations and ambitions. It's inspired from real life, but I'm writing it as fiction, though every incident is from real life. I feel when ambitions become too strong, it becomes an obsession. So that's what my book is about.
That's wonderful. I'm having a total fangirl moment because you and I want you to write more. So yes, definitely. So, exploring Dr. Balesh Jindal's experiences offers healthcare professionals valuable insights into the challenges of medical practice in rural settings. Her journey provides a unique perspective on doctor patient dynamics, societal influences on healthcare, and specific hurdles in the Indian healthcare landscape. Learning from her commitment to affordable healthcare and advocacy against untrained village doctors can inform professional development. The questions also prompt reflection on broader societal factors impacting healthcare. Dr. Jindal's story serves as an inspiration and a source of lessons encouraging healthcare professionals to consider global health issues and reflect on their motivations in their career. On behalf of Medindia, I thank Dr. Jindal for joining us today. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Krishanga. It was a pleasure being on this platform and answering these insightful questions. Thank you.
Thank you.